What if your thoughts aren't really yours? What if your brain isn't making them, but simply receiving them, like a radio tuning into a cosmic station? If that's true, then where do you actually begin? Before we explore this strange possibility, let's take a step back and ask, what exactly is consciousness? At first, it sounds obvious. It's just being aware, right? Aware of yourself, of the world around you, of the fact that right now you're hearing my voice. It's what lets you sip coffee in the morning and savor its warmth. It's what lets you remember your first heartbreak and still feel a shadow of that emotion years later. It's what lets you imagine tomorrow before it happens. But here's the puzzle. Science still can't fully explain how that's possible. Your brain is 3 pounds of tissue, mostly water and fat, sitting in the dark of your skull. Electrical signals fire, chemicals flow, and somehow, from that, emerges you. Most neuroscientists believe the brain creates consciousness, billions of neurons firing in perfect harmony, producing the movie of your life. This is the conventional view. Your mind is a byproduct of brain activity, and when the brain stops, so does the show. But there's another possibility. What if the brain doesn't create consciousness at all? What if it's more like a receiver, a tuner, locking onto a signal that's already there? Think of an old-fashioned radio. The broadcast is happening whether your radio is on or not. Turn the dial and you get a different song, a different station. Could your thoughts, your memories, your entire sense of self work the same way? This isn't just science fiction. Some ancient traditions believed it for thousands of years. Many mystical systems saw the brain as a filter, not a generator of the mind. The body houses it, but it doesn't own it. Modern thinkers have echoed this. William James, the father of psychology, suggested the brain might transmit consciousness rather than create it. The writer and philosopher Aldous Huxley, famous for Brave New World and his deep explorations into human consciousness, once described the brain as a reducing valve. In his view, we are all connected to a vast, infinite awareness, but the brain filters it down, narrowing the flood of information into just what we need to navigate daily life. Without that filter, he believed, reality might be too overwhelming to bear. Nobel Prize-winning neuroscientist John Eccles openly argued that the mind might be separate from the physical brain entirely, and here's where it gets fascinating. There's evidence that cracks open the door to this idea. Near-death experiences, where people recall events and details at times when medical scans show no detectable brain activity. Psychedelic research, where the brain shows less activity during some of the most vivid and profound states of consciousness ever recorded. Quantum biology theories, suggesting tiny structures in neurons, called microtubules, might interact with the very fabric of reality. Now, I'm not saying science has proven this, far from it, but the fact that these clues exist at all means the brain as creator model might not be the whole story. And that's where I want to bring in Geo, because while I've been talking about what this might mean in theory, he's been exploring what it could mean for our daily lives. Geo, you've been looking into how this idea connects not just to science, but to our daily lives.
Right. And Eli, I think people might be shocked when they realize how this changes everything. If consciousness is more like a signal, and the brain is just the receiver, then what happens when the receiver breaks? Most people who see the mind as nothing more than brain activity would say, that's it, game over, lights out, the show's done. But in the receiver model, the broadcast doesn't stop. You just can't hear it through this brain anymore. Imagine smashing your radio. The music doesn't vanish, it just keeps playing somewhere else. And this isn't some fringe idea. It shows up in spiritual traditions, ancient philosophies, and even modern self-development practices. In Hinduism, there's the concept of Brahman, an infinite universal awareness that the mind simply reflects, like a mirror catching sunlight. Buddhism speaks of the mind stream, awareness as a continuous flow, carrying on beyond a single lifetime. Many indigenous traditions describe journeys into alter states, traveling far beyond the limits of the physical brain. But here's where it gets personal. This idea can change how you see your own life, starting right now. Think about those flashes of inspiration that come out of nowhere, that sudden creative idea in the shower, that gut feeling that tells you to call someone, and they just happen to need you. Moments like that might not be random. They might be brief moments when you've tuned into a different station of consciousness, a station that's always been there, just waiting for you to notice. So, can you learn to turn the dial on purpose? Meditation, deep focus, psychedelics, prayer, breathwork, even losing yourself in music or nature, all of these seem to change the frequency we're tuned to. If that's true, then your thoughts, the ones you think define you, might actually be just the starting point of your mind, not the boundary. So, here's my challenge for you. If your brain really is a receiver, what would you do to open it wider? Would you aim for more creativity, more peace, a deeper sense of connection to something bigger than yourself? Because maybe the music never stops. It's just waiting for you to tune in.